a lot of money.
Just
So yeah,
disappeared.
I know what it's like to lose everything of certain stocks.
Right. Yeah. That's the interesting thing about cryptocurrency is if you get cryptocurrency right, it's more important than anything else financially that you'll ever get in your entire life. Because you cannot get these types of returns at all, no matter what. The only thing that maybe reaches the same kind of returns sometimes is if you're a seed investor in something that becomes $1 billion company,
Yeah,
which is
I've
pretty
tried to do
rare.
that. I actually did it. I did a corporate video for a company that recently, and their tech is to track parcels and to make it good for everyone. The parcel tracking business, and the video I did was to get investors excited about it, and I got excited about it myself, to be honest. And so I put money into their IPO, and yeah, that tripled straight away, which was it's now come back, but it's still double what it was. So
Right.
yeah, that is, yeah, you want to be on the ground floor. You want to be one of those people who the stories. Yeah, I was there, and I'm, now got a boat the size of Hawaii. That's the dream, isn't it?
I mean, I kind of looked at, I've been retired for, I don't know, 20 years. And the whole boat thing, I mean, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is the Venice of America. There's more
Yeah.
canals there than there are in Venice. And I never really got into the boat thing, you know? It's like everything I
Yeah.
want's on land. You want to meet chicks? Well, they're on land. You want some
I
steak?
agree.
Grows on land. You know? You like
Yeah.
rocking all the time or getting hit by a rogue wave or pirates, and you're like, I don't like any of that stuff. Then you look at the gas costs. You're like, okay, I get a big boat. I want to go drive it to somewhere else. What does that cost? Like 30 grand. 30 grand. I guess I'll be getting a sailboat. It's like a terrible
I
deal.
I agree. I do not own a boat, even though I have the means to buy a boat, because for that very reason. What do they do out there?
What is going
Unless you
on
love
out
fishing.
there?
Maybe if you love fishing and the only way to get the fish is to go to the fish, I can understand that. But if you're not a fishing dude and I'm with you. It's all on land. It's a status symbol more than anything, isn't it? I've
Yeah.
got a huge boat. Look at my huge boat.
Well, that's the other thing is you go to the dock and you're like, all right, where are the orgies? I'm at the dock. Let's go. Let's see the madness. And you're just like, man, everything here sucks. Like everyone's 1,000 years old. This is trash. I don't like
Exactly. And most of the boats are at the dock, so they don't actually ever go out.
Exactly,
They're there.
man.
They just sit there
Yeah.
devaluing and costing their owners the
10%.
mooring fees.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I have not done the boat, and if I do hit it, mega rich with crypto, I probably won't buy a boat, to be honest. So
Well, they say, to quote an overplayed proverb, the two best days of boats are the day you buy it and the day you sell it. So,
yeah, and the day you sell, it's the best day. So yeah.
and if your
No,
friend's got a boat, I mean, technically now you've got a boat. So,
absolutely.
he
Actually, Bill
pays.
Burr, comedian Bill Burr, I saw him recently. He did the analogy about he's had his own TV shows, and like I've had my own TV shows here in Australia, and he said he'd rather be a guest on the show because it's like the guy who turns up to the guy who owns the boat with a six pack. He can just drink the beer on the boat and then just go home. Doesn't have to worry about.
It's a big difference. I mean, people don't realize all like us doing this live stream. Everyone just gets to show up for it, but we're here trying to fix lights and fix audio, like hook up cameras real quick. Like, it actually sucks on our end, right? We're burning like hours ahead of the show and after the show because we need lag time to like sync up and stuff. Like, there's a lot of, no one wants to see how the sausage is made.
Exactly, and for me, I've got this a light that I'm actually holding onto a light here because it's broken, so it's got tape.
Looks better
on it.
now. You just fixed it, mate. I can see your face now.
It's an absolute nightmare. It's got a Halloween. I'm turning into a jack-o'-lantern. So yeah, I'm wearing my daughter's headset, which had bunny ears on it, and like I can't have the bunny ears on the headset. It's like
I think it would be endearing. I saw something terrifying talking about Halloween. I saw some dude that just literally was wearing like a a plastic bag over his face. I don't know whether it was COVID or whatnot, but if you've ever seen someone just walking around the street with a literal like shopping bag over their face, it's pretty freaky, because it's what you see in like a killer movie when this dude's getting like killed. You're like, man, are you sure that's what you want to wear over your head? Jesus.
I agree. The first, Australia's got, obviously Halloween very much an American tradition. Australia's got into it in the last 10 years. And I remember the first Halloween that my wife made me go the 3 kids out. She splattered fake blood all over my face. And we live in an area where there's a lot of meth heads. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
So I had to wander around the streets knocking on doors with blood all over my face. People, they weren't answering the doors.
Well, all treats for them. No,
actually, I answered. I had one of my kids was a policeman. I had a fairy and a cat. And this is true. Someone answered the door, and I said trick or treat, and he goes, "We're not American." I said, "Well, guess what? He's not a policeman. He's not a fairy, and I haven't just been stabbed." Right?
Well, yeah. So I mean, there's so much stuff we could talk about. We could talk about crypto, we could talk about comedy, we could talk about Australia, we could talk about world events, of which, god darn, there's a lot of them. What do you want to talk about, man? This is whatever you want.
Look, I'm happy to talk about anything. I am fascinated. I know that your audience, the people who love you, I mean, I imagine they're drawn to for many reasons, but crypto is the one reason to get them in the door with you. That's...
For sure.
And I am fascinated, and we've had discussion, on the podcast, the radio show I do, about your knowledge that Australia is really getting behind crypto. And are we too late to the party? Is the question for me,
you bought right before a big dip in the GFC, but if you held, probably worked out okay.
It has. You know what? I honestly was so shocked by and traumatized by the experience. I didn't look at my share portfolio for years because I didn't want to look at the damage. When I eventually did, though, some of the stock that I'd bought for very little had gone up like 100 times. There's a stock in Australia called realestate.com.au, which is a real estate website, and that went from like $5 to is now worth 200. So, and that was, and I held on to it. And so I did pick some real winners, actually.
Good job, man. It sounds like you really did a lot of research.
So, I want to do that with crypto. I want to be that person,
Well, the funny thing is about crypto is, in the bull run, everything goes up. Nearly, except the straight scams that go to zero, of which there are many. I mean, we have names for them. They're called rug pulls now. They're so numerous that we literally, just like the word scam wasn't good enough, we had to come up with a new name. So they go up and up and up and up until they go to zero, and they just stay there. So, if we had this conversation during an 80% dip, then it would be, you could buy Bitcoin and still get crap returns. You could buy Ethereum and still get better returns, probably 2 or 3x better than Bitcoin, but still crap compared to other things like Hex or Pulsechain, other stuff that I built because it's newer, right? So I look at speculation like this. What is the ratio of people that know about a thing now to the ratio of people that will know about it? And that's your actual kind of ROI potential ability to make a lot of money. So like, who hasn't heard of Bitcoin? The richest guy in the world bought it.
Yes.
And so you're getting in at like the absolute very last moment possible when retirement funds and the richest people in the world have already bought billions of dollars of it. And then who's going to follow them up to get you like a sick multiple? Another world's richest guy? Like, no, like you already got him. So, I believe you're going to have a much higher potential ROI in things that people haven't heard about yet.